best way to describe what we do is get you further in your career faster. We're a career accelerator. I had a wrestling career as a student athlete.
No way.
Yeah. Next came entrepreneurship.
Okay.
My last name's Rose.
Yeah.
I started a company called Golden Rose. It was a window cleaning company.
Oh.
Only hired student athletes. I did that ran for student union VP and president at Brock. I think when you set a goal, regardless of what it is, if it's an interesting goal or a good goal, it's going to demand something of you that life doesn't currently. You're going to have to evolve. If you have a growth mindset, you're either going to win or learn.
Yeah.
And learning stacks until you win. Be who you say you are, have integrity, mastery, pursue being world-class at what you do. Learn how to learn. Like, I know they sound abstract and not practical, but you have to be able to answer the question, why you? For anything. A date, a job, why you? A great husband doesn't act like a great husband to be seen, like a great husband just does.
True.
You know, it's not about recognition, it's just who they are.
Yeah.
Trauma is not rare. It's like the default. You know, it's not, do you have trauma? It's what's your trauma? There's 4 attachment styles. Secure, which basically means you resolved your trauma. Anxious, preoccupied, which is mine, which means you are scared people are going to leave. So you're always performing because you feel like you need to perform to be worthy of love. Then there's avoidant. Self-explanatory, but I avoid intimacy because I don't want to get hurt. And then there's disorganized, which is anxious and avoidant.
Kyle, what's your story?
Yeah, I'll try to give the abridged version. I was born in Hamilton to a single mother, a superhero. The next big stop is I had a wrestling career as a student athlete.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. For the better part of a decade. It's actually the only reason I went to post-secondary. The only reason I went to university, and changed my life, taught me what excellence was. Next came entrepreneurship. My last name's Rose.
Yeah.
I started a company called Golden Rose. It was a window cleaning company. We only hired student athletes. I did that for about 6 summers and ran for student union VP and president at Brock, which was a phenomenal experience.
For our viewers, just to be clear, Brock is in Niagara, right?
Yeah, Brock University. Yeah. There's student union elections, and it's a salary job for a year. So I did VP finance, then president. Then I decided to get into HR, and I did that for consulted for a couple years, and then got some director roles. And then once I had gotten the social proof I was looking for, I started the project I knew I wanted to start, which is Grow.
Nice. So for our viewers who don't know about what Grow is and what your line of work is, would you like to please enlighten us? What exactly do you do?
Yeah, for sure. The best way to describe what we do is get you further in your career faster. We're a career accelerator. We're a community. It's a virtual community that exists on a web app, kind of like a Discord type thing. But it's a place where we run workshops, where we connect our community of young professionals to community discounts, to events, technical expertise, therapy, etc. We also have in-person events that are meant to foster a different kind of networking, one that's more personal. I feel like I've gone to networking events for years, and usually when I go, it's a bit of a beauty pageant and like a sales thing. True. I did well enough in those environments, but thought I would reimagine what that is. And so at our events, people actually give support to each other. Like, we give a mic to someone, they talk about what's stressing them out in their career, and then another attendee will grab the mic and provide feedback. And that opportunity to showcase your social intelligence, your technical expertise, leads to a stronger testimonial for people you meet.
Wow. So probably there's a lot of questions I want to ask associated with, first of all, where did this idea come from? Or this is more or less of an idea. This more looks like an urge to help the community.
Yeah.
This work seems to be like more profit driven initially. It's more like you saw something that's happening, just around you, and you saw a gap and you wanted to probably resolve that issue. So where is the inspiration, or where did it come from?
I'm a big believer that the best entrepreneurial ideas start off with you scratching your own itch.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was finished my wrestling career, I literally didn't know anyone that wasn't on the wrestling team because I trained 3 times a day and barely went to class for 3 years.
Okay.
Didn't stay in residence or anything. So I wanted to create a peer group for myself.
Okay.
So I started a club called Grow.
Okay.
The only rule was you had to be ambitious.
Okay.
I took what I liked from mastermind groups mentioned in books like Think and Grow Rich and a nonprofit called Toastmasters, just things that help people get better as a professional, but also
Mm-hmm.
like actually helped you in your life.
Okay.
And I told everybody, that was almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I told everybody then that I was going to start that as a business because I didn't see an opportunity for young professionals to really connect and network.
Mm-hmm.
And everything from then to now was basically curriculum to set the table for this.
Nice. Yeah. And sorry, if you don't mind me asking, I've never asked you this question. How old are you, Kyle?
33.
Oh, we're same. Nice. We're on the same age. Yeah.
Right
nice.
On.
So you said you thought about this 10 years ago. So you were probably in college back then?
Yep. Yeah. I was just finished my wrestling career at Brock and didn't know anybody, needed friends, went through a whole existential crisis because I wrestled for 10 years at a pretty high level. And then I wasn't Kyle that wrestled. I was just Kyle. So I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Went through a existential crisis while studying existentialism.
But how was that as a career though? Like the wrestling, like did you take it as a career or was just mainly sport related or just something for yourself?
I had the opportunity to represent the country and I got bronze at Pan Am's, Junior Pan Am's. It was kind of like the highlight of the career, but yeah, it changed my life. I competed provincially and nationally. It was real exposure to peak performance.
Nice. And was it difficult though, like during the fights? And
I like to describe it as chess with your body.
No way.
Because I mean that is how I understand it. I think, was it hard? Like yes, but it was more of like a creative, artistic type of experience. Like obviously it's a sport and you want to win, you're competitive, but I don't know. I liked the flair. I liked being technical and stuff like that.
Nice. So fast forward 10 years after that initiation or that thought that you had, how did you work your way up? Because I'm sure that there's not, I'm going to discuss about how much it pays off now and how you're doing, but I'm sure it did not secure a guaranteed return for you to be paying your bills. So what were you doing on the side? Were you working a 9 to 5 or were you doing something that paid your bills? What were you up to?
Yeah, I mean, I made a decision after the last startup role that I had that I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I did something I never thought I would and burned the boat. Like stopped working in HR and dedicated my full time outside of coaching to the business.
And did you do something related to psychology, or was that just your wisdom from experience and reading books? Because you're good at that. I can tell you an example later to my viewers, but you're really good at psychology or something associated with it, because even the friends that I introduced them to you, they gave me actually a feedback about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they came up to me and they're like, yo, who's this guy? How long do you know him? I was like, just the same time as you know him probably. Why? He's like, bro, he just said something about my life that probably no one else knows or no one else have taken interest about. So where did that come from?
I studied philosophy as my undergrad. I did take some psych, but I would say I grew up without confidence, and that made me really curious about what that looked like. And that's why I got into sports, was like to build confidence in myself. That's why I did the student union stuff, etc. Yeah, curiosity, man. I think my experience in sport, the principles of excellence and peak performance that I learned in sport, I've experimented and they apply everywhere. It's I'm a principle-based thinker. And yeah, I mean, when you're curious, the knowledge finds you.
Nice. How has the journey been so far? Like, what it's like?
Yeah, I mean, since I've been doing it full time, I wouldn't rather be doing anything else.
Okay.
I love the impact that we're able to have. It feels nice to feel ready because like I said, I've had this on my mind for quite a while and directing my life for quite a while. You can never fully prepare. There's still challenges every day.
Okay.
I like to tell people this is the part of the movie that they skip.
Okay. Because, yeah. A lot of people don't want to talk about the struggle or don't even mention it.
Yeah.
Because people just see how successful you are now, which is why I decided that there are a lot of people like Kyle out there. A lot of people like Lucas out there. Lucas has been on the show.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people like you guys who are doing an impressive work, I should say. And it's something that you don't wake up one day and feel like doing it. This comes from years of planning, maybe, or years of figuring out what you really want in life. And then all of a sudden you go like, yeah, boom, I want to start this. And I want to do this full time. So coming back to the question that I asked, you were working in the space or field of HR before?
Yep. Spent the better part of 6 years.
Okay. And when did you decide to quit? Like how did that thought come to you that I'm just going to quit?
I wanted to perform well enough in HR that my opinion was validated.
Okay.
And the last startup that I worked for happened to be valued at $100 million. And I ran their HR. They were out in Texas, but I ran it here. And that's something that not a lot of people really actually ever get to do in their HR career.
Yeah.
It took me less than 5 years. So I proved myself right. And after that, I was ready to start what I really wanted to do.
Nice. So right now, if I want to understand what most of your time is dedicated towards in a normal day,
right now,
when you wake up, what is that? You got to do this, you got to do that. I know you're all over the place. You're doing something in the space of AI. Yeah. You're doing your coaching. And there was someone, I mean, I can name him. Lucas mentioned that I asked him, just randomly, do you read books? And he's like, yeah, I do, but I don't have a lot of time to read books. But yeah, there's this someone who reads the book for me and then he summarizes it for me. I was like, who is this someone? And he mentioned your name. How is that? Where did you get that from? And how did you decide that, yeah, I can do this too? Because he was praising you. He's like, for someone like me, Rohit, I don't have time to read the lengthy pages of books, but I do want to understand what's in that book.
Yeah.
I want to take out the valuable lessons out of that book and implement it, or probably just learn from it, or just curious to understand what's in that. And for me to be doing that, it requires a lot of time and effort and dedication, which I can't do. But then there are people like Kyle who make it easier for me. So can you share about your normal work life? How does it look like for our viewers to understand someone in your space? How much time do you dedicate in that field of space? And then the AI, and then followed by this book thing.
The book one's the quickest one to answer.
Okay.
To give a metaphor, if you study how a car is made, you can teach people how to drive.
Okay.
So Lucas doesn't need to know how to build a car. He needs to learn how to drive.
Learn how to drive, yeah. So how did you think about that?
It's not a... I like to run experiments.
Because I don't know anyone who even does it.
Yeah.
You're the first person, I would not lie. Probably people or the viewers know about this already, but for me, it was like alien to me. It was just first time I heard about this, and I was like, okay, there are people like Kyle out there who can do it for you, and they're doing a great job, because reading that book, probably it's not of your interest.
It is actually. I have a term called professional learning.
Okay.
And I have a process for learning to do it quickly and efficiently. And so I'm an audiobook guy for one thing. I also am big on academic research, and there's a technique to it.
Okay.
And when you get good at that, you're able to apply it to situations that it lines up with, So the best way to learn something is to apply it to your life, particularly in a way that's stressing you out right now. Like we learn best through pain. And if you can resolve some pain in your life, you're going to see the practical application of the concept. Like people don't like reading, even on a topic they need to read about. But if you show them like how the insight's applied, they'll appreciate it. And mastery is a big word for me. I want to be the best at what I do.
Nice.
That's the pursuit, not in competition with other people, just
yourself.
The best.
Yeah. Probably the better version of yourself.
Yeah. And so, experiments come from that.
And the other line of work that you're engaged in, how does your normal routine and life look like? How challenging it is for you right now, and how that is going for you?
Yeah, I mean, with Grow, I just hired 12 people. And so it's the beginning of the school year. It's the biggest month of the year for us.
True.
So right now, half of my day for half of the week is onboarding. That's like my big concern. Preparing to launch a staffing arm, like a recruitment service as a part of Grow that only places our members. So it's like we set a standard. If you're a part of our community, then we can testify. Like we have a standard for your social intelligence, etc. And so companies can trust us even though they don't know you. And like the idea is that we separate our members from the big applicant pile that people get lost in.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting ready for that.
Nice. So any exciting things that you want to share to our viewers that you probably have come across in the recent time, or something that you've
like a lesson?
Yeah.
The most recent one. So I experiment with how I spend my time. It's actually the way that I coach as well. And so one experiment that I ran for the last 8 months was that I put these blocks of time in my calendar called focus time. And dedicated however long it was to one task, like no distractions, one task. And so I had it in my calendar twice a day, was working pretty well. And then I noticed that I was taking on too much during the day. So I flipped it. Now my whole day is focus time except for 2 shifts. And I guess it's a lesson in not spreading yourself too thin. Better to do a couple things well and bring your best self to it than take on everything that's exciting, because quality isn't there.
But you do also coaching, do you?
Yeah.
You do that. And would you like to share that about to my viewers? What exactly do you help people in, and what type of coaching do you provide?
Yeah. I call it performance coaching because that's what I'm obsessed with. And basically if you think about your job, you have a bunch of responsibilities, and the way that you do each of those responsibilities, like you have a choreography for it, like a natural, automatic way that you do it. So we start off by observing that and then experimenting with different dance steps, essentially. And a lot of that also has to do with the belief that you have around the things that are stressing you out, the opportunities in front of you, and there's accountability and project management, and then use of our AI tools as well.
Nice. And I'm sure you probably helped a lot of people in this space, but any interesting moment during this coaching tenure that you can share with us that you take pride on, that, this person or he or she was going through this phase and they were lost, or maybe they were not able to figure out some things about themselves, and you on the other end were able to at least provide some light, and then I'm sure you're in touch with them. You saw them probably in the future do better or do something nice, and you take pride in it. Any example that you can share?
So I mentioned earlier that I'm a principle-based learner. So the example I'm going to use has nothing to do with work, but everything to do with work. And so one of my clients is married and was having some issues in his relationship. There was a lack of trust, and he was performing, try to win that trust back. And in his efforts to win the trust back, was like looking to be rewarded for the good behavior.
Yes.
And was frustrated about it, was feeling under-recognized, underappreciated when he was making this effort. And it had been going on for a long time. And in our first session, one of the things that I said was that the lack of trust was actually something that he taught his partner by abusing the trust. So it's something he had to take responsibility for. And then the other side of it is, like, a great husband doesn't act like a great husband to be seen, like a great husband just does.
True.
You know, like, it's not about recognition, it's just who they are.
Yeah.
And we keep saying, like, just does on all of our calls related to anything now. And it's just this, like, I think when you set a goal, regardless of what it is, if it's an interesting goal or a good goal, it's going to demand something of you that life doesn't currently. You're going to have to evolve.
Okay.
And so, like, that's uncomfortable. But it's a part of the process. Like, it's not growth if you don't change, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people fall in love with who they are, who they've been, their routines, their beliefs, etc. And that's what holds you back.
They get comfortable with that too.
Actually, addicted is the word I use. Like, from a neuro, like, literally, that's how your brain works. You get addicted to these behaviors, these beliefs, these
notions that you probably have of yourself. And
so you have to rewire yourself. And, like, the harder the habit, like, the stronger the habit or the belief, the more you have to rehab yourself to get around it, you know, which could be as simple as, I'm not worthy or competent enough to apply for that job, or to take a chance on entrepreneurship, or whatever, like, whatever practice thought you have, if it doesn't fit the goal, like, if that's not a behavior or practice thought of the version of you that's achieved the goal, then you got to cut it.
True.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully
and
that's helpful.
Nice. And what are some of the things that you see nowadays people suffer with the most, and you think that it's something so basic that probably their delusion into thinking that, you know, it's hard to come out of it, or just do something better for themselves because the world or the society has put you in that pressure that, no, you're not worthy of it, like you mentioned before, or you can't do it because, you know, it's too late now. What are some of the things that you think personally, or you've witnessed, because you're in this space, you meet a lot of people who go through a lot of things. What is that one thing that people go through nowadays which you think has an easy way out?
I mean, it's not going to feel easy till you're on the other side of it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be stressing you out.
True.
But like, I just don't want to, like, belittle the experience of people going through stuff. I would say something that applies directly to this, regardless of the problem, is people's relationship with stress.
Okay.
There's a belief some people have that like, life shouldn't have stress, and so every time it comes into their life, it's like, it's a big deal and like, it's a surprise kind of thing, and not a natural part of life. And then further from that, stress, these challenges in your life, they're opportunities to grow. And you can either look at them as obstacles or opportunities to train and progress as a human, in whatever the case is. And, like, the better you can, I have a term called romanticize stress, where I literally
that's a good word.
Exactly like it sounds. Like, if you can romanticize this stress,
you start to enjoy it.
Yeah, you learn to love it, bro. There's a term my favorite philosopher has. It's called amor fati. It's Latin. It means love of one's fate. And it's different than optimism. It's not like looking at the bright side. It's like love
what you have,
love the life and every part of it. Take ownership, be grateful. Like, and when you have that attitude, like, bring it on, you know, like,
then you become basically unstoppable. Then,
it's a growth mindset. Like, if you have a growth mindset, you're either going to win or learn. And learning stacks until you win. So
true. Nice. That's a good way to think. And there was something recently Lucas mentioned to me, that we might actually be in a phase or in a time during our era, which because I confirmed with him, do you think Lucas will be able to see this or witness this during our tenure? He's like, it's very highly possible that we would. And that is that we would have a life that does not have any stress anymore because AI basically is doing everything for you. And you have an AI to make you go through those feelings and emotions and stress. Is that something that you also align with, or something that you see that could be a future? Because that's scary to me.
I can't imagine where we don't have stress in our lives.
Okay.
I can't. I think the higher we go on, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our problems change. That's why the generations are always different. Like, our little brothers or kids, depending on your age, they're dealing with different stresses. They're living in a different time.
Yeah.
As technology progresses, the challenges change.
True.
And so I can't see that just ending. Like, I don't think we're going to beat the game, but I do think it's going to augment. And I think it's already way easier to learn. Like, the internet age was access to education.
Yeah.
And I think AI is streamlining that.
Okay.
What
do you think about the traditional method of education? Like, do you think this is gonna go, just obsolete, or?
Like, do you mean the school system?
Yeah, school, universities.
No, I don't. No, largely because of social proof.
Okay.
Like, people want a standard, just like the staffing agency I was talking about.
Okay.
Like, people trust brands, right?
Okay.
If you tell me you studied like, how do I know you,
okay,
how do I know the quality
of education that you got?
or of experience that you had? Like, I can't see that
changing.
Yeah.
Maybe these institutions have a different way of providing education, but
they'll adapt or die. Sure.
Okay.
They're not going to die.
Okay. Nice. So the other point that I want you to probably enlighten our viewers is, you mentioned about relationships, but what are some of the things that you personally see people do wrong in relationships? What are some of the basic, because nowadays you hear about people not only breaking up in their relationships, but divorce rates are so high.
Yeah.
Right. So people are just not able to sustain one another, or for that matter, if I want to use, or if this is even the right word, tolerate each other. So what do you think is one of the most common things that people go through about that?
I think access to options.
Okay.
Is a bit of a curse.
Okay.
It's like when you're at the grocery store and there's 20 bottles of shampoo and you don't know which one to choose.
Yeah.
Like, I think people, because of the access, are treating people as dispensable and are not on the same team.
They're not investing much of their time and emotion, maybe.
Well, it's more like, if you mess up, I'm leaving. Like, there's no resilience in the relationship because it's not a partnership.
That's a good word. Yeah, it's not a partnership.
Yeah. Like, if you want a relationship to be successful, it's got to be you both versus the problem. But if it's me versus you,
then we're the problem.
Well, at least one of us. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Nice. And the generation of social media we are in, where every single thing is on social media. Your personal, professional, I don't know, friends, family, whatever it is, it's just out there. And like you said, there are many options too for people to be choosing from. But do you think, because I sometimes am not able to relate, you're into this line of work, so you're on top of your game. You're always, what the technology advances are probably better than me, right? Because I'm not that tech freak anymore. I used to be when I was young, and it stopped at a certain age. Probably after 20, I was not interested in it anymore. I was just interested. Oh yeah, there's a new phone. I'll get the new phone. Whatever.
What happened? Why?
Sorry.
Why?
I just think life happened, man. And when I say life happened, I'm not gonna say I was very responsible with what happened, but I just chose a different path. I I was more interested in, just spending time with friends, partying. Sure, education needs to be ticked off. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I need to go out of my country where I was coming from. I was like, yeah, we'll do that. And career, I was like, yeah, this is a good to have because people are doing it and it pays well. I'm going to do it. But then again, later down the road, you realize there are a lot of things that you wanted to do and you couldn't, or you did not initiate. And now I'm in that phase where I'm actually exploring what I really wanted to do. Ooh. Hence this idea, and this podcast is about that. It's about what I really enjoy doing, because I realized this very late that I actually talk to a lot of people. I like talking to people, and I'm interested in knowing what their story is. So I'm sure there are a lot of people like me out there who probably wouldn't want to know or have an inspiration, who is not Elon Musk, who is not probably some Kylie Jenner, but probably someone like Kyle Rose, who struggled with their own life in their own way as a commoner, and they came out of it, and now they're doing good in their life, and they're living in a city which is not cheap to pay your rents or bills, but yet you managed to do all of that, and a lot of people could be inspired from you. So and again, coming back to the point, in this time of social media where technology is just at your fingertips, it's doing most of the things, but it has also fucked people's brain. If I'm to put it right there, it's limited their potential to go out of the way and think and do something. Is that true, or is that just my notion?
I don't give it that much credit. I think we make decisions. Okay. Social media doesn't make any decisions. Is it a tool that is easy to misuse? Sure. So's a gun,
yeah. And people do misuse it.
So's a car.
Yeah. And people misuse it, right? We see it.
And whose fault is it? I don't know. I feel like people
blame it on
something other than themselves, which is why they stay stuck in that situation.
Why do you think people do that, Kyle?
Because it's easier.
It's easier to blame it on something other than yourself.
It's not comfortable to take responsibility for the stress in your life.
Self-accountability is rare. Yeah.
It's not easy to own up, be vulnerable, but these things build character. These things define who you are as a person, but they're not easy. That's why we respect them so much when we see them.
Yeah, you're right.
My social media feed has cats, therapy, my friend. You can control your feed. It's not Instagram's fault.
A lot of people are now seeking validation only from Instagram and social media.
Yeah, and I think it is built to be unproductive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not. It's built to make you addicted to it, and not in a productive, lovely sense. Okay. But just like any situation in your life, if you don't like where you are, leave.
But sometimes it's too late for these people to realize.
Never
too late.
What would quantify that? How do we know it's too late?
Some things probably require you to be at a certain age and have the level of energy that you're required to probably perform a task. And then,
like what?
Okay. If I am to give example, again, this probably people might bash me for this, but in general, I've come across a lot of women who would say, yeah, it would have been better if I was not probably doing this XYZ during my prime age, probably focused on healthy relationships rather than seeking validation from men or other people. And now I'm probably in my late 30s. Now I'm not able to have a stable relationship. And for that matter, I want kids, but now I can't have them. But don't you think that's time constraint?
Can't have kids? I think I have trouble with that. But I also have trouble with identifying that as a solely woman issue. Okay. Women deal with that, men deal with that, Black people deal with that. I mean, everybody has their own struggle, their own narrative, their cultural norms, their pressures, their prejudice.
Okay,
you can either be a victim to your circumstance and let it define you.
Okay.
Or you can guide your life yourself.
Nice.
If someone wasted their time in their 20s, why would they think really that just means you didn't study for the test, So it's not oh, I can never do that. Just study for the test. You know, like
you slacked in your prime, and
your 20s isn't even your prime. Like in my opinion, your 20s is where you prove your competency. You work hard so that you can work smart later. Like nobody's gonna trust you in your 20s. Why should they? You know, you literally don't know what you're doing. And even if you kind of do, you know, it's like
there's a gray area always.
I mean, there's just technical competency. Like, why would I, you know,
I get what you're.
Entrepreneurship is a great way to accelerate that. That's what I did. There's other ways to do it. That's what we're doing with Grow. But yeah, you got to learn how to learn. I mean, it's not productive to guilt or shame yourself. It's actually abusive. It's literally abusive.
But you agree that's necessary, right?
Guilt and shame?
Yeah.
No, they're abusive. It's never productive, ever.
Really?
Ever.
Why do you say that?
Name me a time when it was.
No, yourself, like you.
Oh, like research and lived experience. When you guilt yourself, it doesn't motivate you. It doesn't, like, it just tears you down. It's abuse. It's self-abuse. It doesn't help you. Taking responsibility, taking ownership, this is totally different.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. So yeah, guilt and shame, and then taking responsibility is nice. What do you say to people who probably have gone through trauma in their childhood, and somewhere somehow that has shaped them as a person? And again, I'm not gonna say for those people it's an easy way out, because those people tend to blame it on the situation and justify things that they could have done but they don't do. But again, you see these area that they've been through in their life, which is very painful, very, very hard, you know. I would say something to just experience that and think over it. It breaks you as a person. So do you think on whatever level those traumas are, is it still something that people should be, you know, just blaming their um activity in life that they were not able to do so because of so and so, or is it just subjective? And
trauma is not rare. It's like the default. You know, it's not do you have trauma, it's what's your trauma. There's 4 attachment styles.
Okay.
Secure.
Okay.
Which basically means you resolved your trauma.
Okay.
Anxious, preoccupied, which is mine, which means you are scared people are going to leave. So you're always performing because you feel like you need to perform to be worthy of love. Then there's avoidant.
Avoidant. Okay.
Self-explanatory, but I avoid intimacy because I don't want to get hurt.
Okay.
And then there's disorganized, which is anxious and avoidant. There's a bunch of subtypes to that, but if you meet somebody that's secure in their attachment style, it's because they did a lot of work on themselves. Okay. Literally everybody else has some experience that shaped how they are today, how they form relationships. Like this is work every human has to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Kyle, were you born and brought up in Canada?
Yeah. Okay. Hamilton, Steel City's finest.
Okay. 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 And if you don't mind, I mean, if you can choose not to answer, but is there any moment in your childhood or as when you were growing up which you felt could have been better, or some things that you went through as a child which you came out of and now are proud of, that yeah, you know what, I was going through this and this is how I resolved that? I know you talked about you being a shy person, an introvert, and just, you know, that's why you chose what you chose as a sports or interest, and got into it. But were there any instances in your childhood that you felt that you now feel or take pride in, that yeah, I went through this, but this is how I overcame it with?
Yeah. I grew up in a mostly white neighborhood with everyone having a 2-parent household and me having a single mom. This is a little vulnerable, but I'll go there. Like when I did something wrong growing up,
Mm-hmm.
When I did something wrong growing up, my mom would say something to the tune of, she would take it personally. She would say something to the effect of, you don't love me, you don't respect me.
Okay.
You can imagine what.
Yeah.
That's where the anxious, preoccupied attachment style comes from. And she did a great job. She did her best. She loves me. And it shaped me. It's also the reason why I coach so well now. Like that hypervigilance, because I'm scared people are going to leave. I got really good at performing. Now I can help other people do it.
Yeah.
And I pick up on emotion fast.
Nice.
Really fast.
And so, what are some of these societal issues that you feel right now that are a threat to the society or the community in general, which people can probably learn from you and try to, you know, get out of it or work on it before it's too late? But you say you don't believe in it's too late, but still something that they can immediately take action and try to follow, something that you might want to share.
The two biggest hacks I have for life are learn how to learn, like the technical skill of learning.
Learn how to learn.
Yeah, because once you do that, you don't have to ask yourself, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's what do I want to do?
True.
Totally different model for life.
Yeah.
The second one is community.
Mm.
A lot of people treat life like it's a solo journey.
Okay.
It's not meant to be. It's not productive. It's not efficient. And nobody cares. Even if you do it by yourself, nobody cares. So do it with other people. It's more fun.
Okay. So you mean this in a way that people should be doing this with friends and family, or do you mean this as a person that you need to look for a partner?
Like, we're social creatures, right?
Yes.
Like, isolation is extreme torture for humans, right? So the quality of your relationships, that is strongly correlated with your mental health, your ability to deal with challenges, your so many things. If you're just relying on your own like willpower and discipline versus, like, let's say you wanted to start running.
Yeah.
And there's two versions of you. There's the version of you that does it alone and the version of you that has roommates that all run. Who's going to do better?
Definitely the one who has a roommate who does it.
It's as simple as that for everything.
For me, actually, that's very true. You just mentioned, and I can tell you. So I never used to work out before. I'm not saying I'm muscular and all built up right now, but at least I have this encouragement, and it's from the person that I live with, and I see the routine. I see how they focus on eating healthy, and it always provides me a guilt and shame on a lower level, which I can take. And I go like, yeah, you know what? I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be eating this outside. I shouldn't be doing that. So I would agree, if I would have been alone, that's a different story. But if I'm with someone, and similarly, I was talking to the previous guest, that you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yep.
So if you're surrounding yourself with intelligent, competent people, and someone who looks into the brighter side of everything that happens in their life, even if it's what we call stress, what we call pain, like you mentioned, those are something that you need to enjoy. But despite being in those, because everyone's going to go through that, and you just need to learn how to deal with them. And if you have people who are very competent, very strong individuals, have a really nice mindset, you can be someone, the better version of yourself in no time.
And you don't just have to rely on you. You can have a bad day.
Yeah.
Your friends will pick you up.
True.
Like,
agreed.
it's really just math, bro. Like, why would you do anything alone? Like, it literally doesn't make sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I can't ask you one question that I can actually ask everyone. I think you're the only person I can't ask this question.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about this. I was like, how do I ask this person? Because the person prior to you was someone in real estate. Someone I've interviewed before was a model. Some of them are influencers. Some of them are fitness trainers. You you're in the line of work, which generally people can't just wake up one day and say, yeah, I want to be a life coach. This comes internally, I think. This comes from either your experience your upbringing or something that you really need to have a skill set from the beginning to be able to coach someone, to be able to motivate someone, to be able to pass on that information? Because this is not even teaching. A teaching job, I think you can learn that. I personally think, but your job,
it is teaching.
It is?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Is it something that others can learn?
Oh yeah.
And be a coach one day and
absolutely.
Really? Okay, sorry. Please let me know.
Oh, I don't think there's actually anything special about me other than the fact that
no, there's a lot of things.
Other than the fact that I've dedicated time to working out mental muscles that other people haven't. Like, okay. That's really it.
Yeah, you're just being humble, bro.
Nah, bro. Like, if you did the same thing.
Yeah. You think so? But I don't have the patience. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you don't want to, but if you did.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
okay. So what's your message to people who probably want to be in the same space as you are and be in the same line of work that you are in?
Learn how to learn.
Okay.
That's extremely correlated with learning how to teach.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence is obviously huge.
Okay.
Most of the coaching is what would I be thinking or why would I be thinking it if I were in your shoes?
Okay.
Pursue your curiosity. Curiosity is the most attractive human quality. It's the most employable one. It's the best one. Last advice, run experiments. Like, pursue your interests, find out this is actually my advice for you.
Okay.
Make a list of the things that you're excited about doing, rank them, and then just start trying them. That's how you're going to figure it out.
Okay.
And if you can do that with your strengths in mind and like getting feedback from the people around you, like, what am I good at? You know, then you can make an educated guess and skip some steps.
Nice. Nice. And what about is this, I could tell this is probably not money motivated or driven for you, right?
No.
But for those who want to make this as a career and be driven by it because there's money that can come from this.
I can't imagine you being world class at something and money not following. So that's my advice.
Wow. That's good.
You want to be good? You want to be great?
Money's going to follow
best in the room, best in the city, or the best? Who do you think gets paid more?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to take it.
It's actually that simple. It's about your standards.
Yeah. So now let's come to this part now, because I really want to highlight how people are living in Toronto and the type of expenses that they have. And with the lifestyle you have, I can only imagine the expenses you make. So how easy it is. And you are a little different because you have a lot of ventures going on. But despite that, how do you think you're able to manage those expenses living in Toronto? Like, I'm sure they're high. And what's the most that you spend in a month? You can give me a high ballpark number that this is the amount of money that I spend, and then that could be divided into anything. You don't have to divide it for me, but what's the number in a month that you spend, probably, including everything: rent, food, car, insurances, whatever?
Seven
okay.
grand.
Okay. Which is a lot. A lot of people are not able to,
I have employees too.
Yeah. That's separate, right?
No.
Okay.
But, sorry. With like just on my.
Just yourself. Yeah.
Oh. The most? I would say the average is around 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And how do you feel about it? Like, do you think it's justified the way you spend your money? Like, or is there a ridiculous amount of money that goes in something? Because I know everyone comes to my show and they tell me rent. Rent is something ridiculous nowadays, and this is something that is out of our budget or something we would not like to.
You can tell my relationship with stress. I'm not going to answer this normally, but I'm here for a reason. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Okay.
And I think if you focus on being so good, people can't ignore you.
Well, see, this is what I like about you, Kyle. Even when I give you one of the pain points that people go through, you always have a way to look at the brighter side.
It's a pain point because your strategy sucks. So get a new one. It's literally that simple. Yeah. But people don't think like that.
Yeah. You're actually very interesting to touch one of the subjects that is my favorite. And again, one more time, has it on my disclaimer, but again, I would like to say it. I don't represent these folks. I'm not affiliated with them, but it's just the topic of my interest as I'm learning through various platforms about them, and I'm inspired about them from them. On many levels. So, what do you think about the Tate brothers, like Andrew and Tristan? What's your take on them? I don't know if you've heard about them. Or
yeah, I have.
What's your take on them? The way they say and promote masculinity and life in general, how we're wired, because they bring you back to how God has wired you as an individual, men and women, and what their fundamental differences are, and how one should respect and work towards it rather than competing with each other. And then again, there are many topics on various occasions that they talk about how the men or the man of the household should be the provider.
Gender roles,
yeah. So what do you think about them? What's your take on them?
About gender roles?
No, about
the brothers.
Yeah,
I think people get popular with a gimmick, and their gimmick was being disagreeable, slightly offensive. But once people get over that, there's like it's a party trick.
Okay.
You know, I think when you watch their content, it's not just that. There's substance there.
Yeah.
But the quickest way to get attention in the media is shock value, you know? So it's like, I mean, the news does it. Like, this is just, we pay attention to extremes.
Okay.
So that's how you get noticed. I think it's a bit of a song and dance.
This is a different viewpoint that I've never actually, someone has told me about.
I don't think we know anything about them. You know, I think there's a big performance. I've heard people say that they're not the way they are when you meet them.
Okay.
Not the way that they portray themselves. What do I think about them? I think they're providing community and like they're catering to a lack of maybe male role model, or, you know, like people who don't have an example to follow. I think it's a bit of extremism, like sensationalism for sure. I think it's not that they never make sense. Yeah. They might even mostly make sense, but not somebody I would recommend that you learn from per se.
Okay.
Maybe to get started learning, but yeah, I wouldn't stay there.
Because when I started listening to these folk, this was back in 22. And then there was a period of my life where I was busy with something and I just completely, they were just not on any of my feeds. They were just not on my list to listen,
They got banned.
Probably they got banned. Maybe that's why it stopped coming. And I lost interest because I was engaged in something else.
Yeah.
But now when I touched base upon them again, I actually did an extensive research on their life. And to my surprise, they have been in the limelight since the age of 19, being professional kickboxers, martial arts, whatever.
Reality show, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, reality show. And I've watched them too. And I just wanted to understand the character of these men back then. And then I saw some work they've done, the videos they uploaded throughout the time. So in 18 years, I've tried. I'm not going to say I've seen everything about them, but I saw how they started, just probably as a contender or someone who's in the reality show, and then later, to someone who just did something during COVID and became so famous and made a lot of money during COVID, which they admit and accept how they made it. I'm not going to justify whether that was right or wrong, how they made money. But what I actually noticed is what they talk to you about in today's time and era and age is exactly what they believed in back then, 18 years ago. And it's just the way of delivery is different because they were young back then. They had no influence, they had no money, they had no power. So they would believe into it, but they would just not be very vocal about it. Now that they have, we'll all agree they have a lot of money, they have influence, they have followers, they have this community that they built for themselves. Now the way they speak, you're right, it looks more like a shocker way of delivery, but I think the mindset of these folks were the same. I mean, they had a clear vision of what they wanted in life, at least how they perceived life to be, what their role as a man should be, and what they should strive to achieve. So that was clear to me, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, sure, I agree.
But it's and you're right. Someone who just started listening to them in the recent time might probably not get the same impression because it's somewhat harsh for people and the way they speak, the way they talk. So I kind of agree with you in that aspect sometime, that it's not probably the best of way that you can deliver your message to someone out there. But yeah, sorry, you were saying. So
I agree with everything you just said, really. I used to be really, really critical of people that were putting out content that I didn't like.
Okay.
And I don't remember when, but at some point, I just realized, like, if people are doing more good than harm, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to judge?
Yeah.
If they're doing more harm than good, then yeah, sure, we should judge and keep them accountable. But
nice. So yeah, brings me to, again, the same question. If someone wants to get in the line of work that you are in, what are some of the, and being practical, because they've got bills to pay, right? They probably have a lot of things that are going on, but they want to be someone in the line of work that you're doing. So what would you advise someone who's just watching you, our viewer, someone can get inspired? Yeah, I want to be like Kyle Rose one day. I want to be a mentor. I want to be a coach. I want to be someone, even if they're inspired by the work that you're doing in AI, which you can probably speak a bit about what you're doing in that space. But what's that one thing that you would like to give your followers and your viewers an advice on?
Why do you trust me?
Why do I trust you?
Yeah.
Okay. Probably it comes with years of experience. It's not something that I would say that the 19-year-old Rohit would trust you. But yes, the 33-year-old Rohit can trust you because the 33-year-old me, when I meet someone, I have a 5 minutes time frame to judge how bad can you be. That's the first thing I judge, more than the good. Cool. I judge how harmful or how much harm can you provide me or anyone else. Then if that's not to the extreme, then I look at the other element. How good is this person? Can we be friends? Can I have a meaningful conversation with him? It's not about what I can benefit only. It's just about, can he be a friend? A friend does not necessarily have to provide me some benefit.
I think that's a big benefit, but go on.
Yeah. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, that is a big benefit too. But I would like to know the person in terms of how good is he with his intentions.
Yeah.
So if your intentions are pure, then I don't care whether you provide me benefit in terms of monetary or not, or in any other way. As long as I see the good intention in you, I would be the first one to,
okay.
Yeah.
Great
put my
answer.
hand forward.
Great answer. Follow up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not actually selling to you right now, but let's imagine you had the budget. Would you pay for my coaching?
If I had the budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because now I've been with you a couple of times. I've seen your work. I've seen you dedicate your time and effort to the work. I've seen how you do it. Had you been slacking around just selling me the idea, yeah, I want to be this, I want to this, probably no. but I see you walk the talk. I see you put in the effort. Now, if money's the problem and if I have it and that could benefit you, I would definitely lend you the hand. Yeah. 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 Why not?
I'm saying that's the answer to your question.
Okay.
You know, like, be who you say you are, have integrity.
Okay.
Mastery, pursue being world-class at what you do.
Okay.
Learn how to learn. Like, I know they sound abstract and not practical, but you have to be able to answer the question, why you? For anything.
Anything, yeah.
A date, a job, like it. Why you?
Yeah. That's again, you're validating what Andrew Tate says the most. If you're going out on a date and you want that woman to be with you, the first question you have to ask is why you? With so many options that they have out there, why you?
Yeah.
What's so different about you? What you're good at?
Yeah. The only other thing I would add is study the greats.
Study the what?
The greats.
What does that mean?
The greats, the people that are the best at whatever you want to do. Like study greatness, because greatness.
Who are you inspired from? Like people who are not alive anymore, probably from the past.
Malcolm X.
Muhammad
Ali, yes. Controversial, but Kanye, when he's doing well.
No. I would still say in this time and age, yes, it's controversial. You're right. A lot of people might hate us, but
I didn't say I wanted to be him.
No. Yeah. I'm just saying inspired,
or that I agree
right?
With
something that you probably can learn a thing or two from.
The 10 years that I took to work on Grow before I did it, I got from him because he did that with fashion.
Yeah, a lot of people have just are judging him for what he has said in the recent times, but there's a lot of greatness probably he's done in the past, which is why he was praised, which is why he was loved, which is why he had a lot of followers. And again, not justifying what he said or in what context he meant that. He said it to an extreme level, which probably he's facing the repercussions of the media and the people. But at the same time, there's probably an element inside him that we can take for our own benefit.
I mean, he's been world-class at 3 things.
Okay.
How many people do you know that have done that? There's obviously something.
Sorry, can you name all 3? I don't know. I know him about
producing, rapping, and fashion.
Yeah, you're right. Fashion, yeah.
Literally world-class at all 3.
Yeah.
Watch his documentary. You don't have to like him to learn from him.
Nice. What's his documentary called? And where is it? Is it on?
It's on Netflix. I honestly forget what it's called.
But, okay. Was it a recent one or
it's a couple years old? You're gonna love it, bro.
After what he got himself into, or before that?
One of his friends followed him with a camera for 20 years.
No fucking way.
Yeah. Watch that.
Nice. Great.
Can you imagine, bro?
20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I could be that friend. I have a lot of videos and pictures of my friends.
Gotta take some of you now.
Yeah. I have a lot of videos on my phone, which is why a lot of my friends say if that phone ever gets leaked, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Because these are videos and things from probably 14 years ago. And things we used to do when we were young and stupid. And I have them on record. And I just have it not because I want to do something with malintention, but it's just how I work. I just try to capture every fucking moment. Which is why if there's ever an occasion or an event, a lot of things that I share, people, look back and reflect, we were like this, we were like that. And I love that. I like doing that.
You're a leader, bro. You're a community leader.
I wish one day.
You don't have to wish. This is what leadership looks like.
Thanks, man.
You're helping people.
Yeah. I hope so. This message gets out in a positive way, or the way you're trying to.
I promise it will. Just keep doing it.
Thanks. All right. I think we've covered most of the topics. Is there anything that you would like to share to your viewers who follow you? Because I'm going to be sharing this video with you for you to be sharing it with your audience as well, and the type of people that you surround yourself with. So is there any message that you would like to give them?
Something I've been thinking about.
Yes, please.
In the last 24 hours is that.
Oh, okay. Very recent.
Is that you can get excited about your future and pursue it with enthusiasm, or you can avoid it and stress when it's on your plate and right in your lap, paying attention to my trains of thought and trying to create solutions whenever I feel stress or anxiety or whatever.
Okay.
Like not just sitting in it and feeding the thought, but trying to develop solutions that I'm excited about. And
Okay.
community helps with that. Friends help with that. Our community helps with that.
Yes.
There's a technique to it, you know?
Nice.
And it's one of the most useful skills you can have.
Nice. Nice. I look forward to our friendship growing in a positive way.
Likewise.
I hope I continue to learn from people like you and yourself in particular. I know our conversations, whenever we have them, I know we don't meet as frequently, but whenever we do, we start off where we left.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
And it was an interesting time that recently we bumped again and we came to your place, and a lot of my friends who I introduced you to them to you, they actually shared a very positive feedback about you.
That's great to hear.
So I wish you nothing but the best, Kyle. And I know you're doing well. I know you're going to continue to do well. And I hope this relationship grows in a better way. And then we have some things to work on in future together. You never know.
I'm excited.
Yep.
Future's bright.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.